Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing gold trimmed with black and weighing in at 149 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 34 victories, including 22 knockouts with 6 defeats and 1 bout even. Ladies and gentlemen, from Broussard, Louisiana, here is the challenger, Jason Papill. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with white, weighing in at 153 1/4 pounds. His professional record, 42 victories, including 24 knockouts with only 3 losses. From St. Petersburg, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending IBF Junior Middleweight Champion of the World, Ronald Winky Wright.
All right, you're both giving your instruction in the dressing room. I want you to listen to my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions over here? You got any questions? Touch them up, guys. Good luck to you.
Bill Connors has given the instructions to the fighters getting set for round number 1. Set for 12. IBF Junior Middleweight Championship of the World on the line. And you see, now has become a common practice, the human billboard, some advertising on the back of Ronald Winky Wright. Papill in the gold trunks, Winky Wright in the maroon trunks with the white trim. Actually kind of a crimson red.
Little feeling out process to start the fight. Not surprising.
Winky Wright is southpaw, and Papill will have to contend with that. Winky Wright, known for solid combinations to the body. Very effective with the hand speed, both inside and outside. Good maneuverability, always on balance, and he's been that way since the outset of his career. Very impressive early start to his professional tour.
And he's flicking at right jab out, which is something that he needs to do. Papill thinks that he can land some right leads as the fight moves on. And neither fighter with tremendous punching power, by the way. But there should be some good action, though, once they warm up a little bit.
Of course, one of the keys, if you're watching this fight, is that Papill, contending with the southpaw style of Winky Wright, has to keep his foot on the outside of Wright's lead foot. Always considered a key when dealing with a left-hander. And so far, he's true to the task. He's been doing it.
One thing I don't think Papill wants to do is to get caught on the ropes. And a couple of times, like right now, that's almost about to happen. But Wright has been content to let him off the hook, at least in the early portion of the fight.
Both fighters appear to be very dry. Sometimes a sign that you'll see a flash knockdown when that first good punch is landed in the opening round. Papill content so far, Ed, to back himself up against the ropes.
Throwing very few punches. You know, he came up and tried to land a left hook here, which was short, and there he went to the body. But even though he's a little bit shorter, he's got a slight reach advantage over Winky Wright, so it shouldn't be a problem for him to get inside.
Minute to go in round number 1. As you mentioned, the feeling out process, not too much being felt so far, as we've seen very few punches landed in this opening round. Winky Wright's been coming forward, and there's a good body shot finally landed by Papill.
Papill is an experienced fighter. Well, he just got caught with a right hook, as you just saw against the ropes. But he's an experienced fighter, and he can go upstairs and he can go downstairs, and he tries to put together a combination there. But I don't know that he's doing enough to win this or any round if he fights tactically throughout the course of the evening like this.
About 30 seconds to go in this opening round, scheduled for 12 for the IBF Junior Middleweight Championship. Winky Wright hasn't really opened up yet. Papill pawing away at the body with the left hand, doing a little probing here in the final stages of round number 1. Misses with an overhand right. And Winky Wright always on balance, as I mentioned. A good defensive fighter also. May not have the big knockout power, but a versatile fighter who's fairly adept at virtually all phases of the game. Final seconds, round number 1. Winky Wright and Jason Papill. Round number 2 of this championship battle. The jab looms key for Winky Wright as he builds his case to retain his championship belt. Jason Papillon in the gold trunks. Not many effective blows landed in round number 1. I give a slight edge to Winky Wright, here to be the aggressor, and he's always been very adept in ring generalship. As he finally lands a left hand and backs up Jason Papillon here, early stages, round number 2.
And once again, Papillon gets hit with that left hand because he stays on the ropes. He needs to come forward like he does there and go to the body and stay in the middle of the ring. Papillon does not want to get backed up in, regardless of the punching power of Wright. He's a better fighter in the middle of the ring than coming off the ropes.
A piston-like combination by Jason Papillon, relatively ineffective as Winky Wright, an outstanding defensive fighter.
Papillon's starting to pick it up a little bit with those body shots, and that scores points and will get the judge's attention if he continues to do it.
Bill Connors, the third man in the ring. Little to do so far as the two fighters have been pretty much at a distance. Papillon tries to combination again inside, but Winky Wright wriggles his way out of there and again has Papillon against the ropes.
No feeling out process in this round, Jeff. Obviously, he decided it was time to fight.
Somewhat measured pace by Winky Wright, who lands 2 big shots in combination. Right jab has been an effective tool for him so far, and he followed that with a good solid left hand.
Papillon's getting in his shots. He's going to the body and occasionally to the head.
You mentioned a common opponent. Real tough customer, Bronco McCart. It's impressive that Winky Wright was able to defeat a fighter of that caliber on a couple of occasions. Jason Papillon on the losing end of his 2 fights with that same foe. Papillon starting to connect a little bit with the jab, but he's firing his shots while backing up, and Winky Wright lands a solid right hand to the body.
Well, a good right there as he's got Papillon against the ropes again, and Papillon gets lazy. Now he comes out, and you can see as soon as he gets into the middle of the ring, he lands a couple of combinations, some picked off by the gloves of Wright, others that got through.
Final minute of round number 2 of this scheduled 12-rounder. See that Winky Wright very subtly, almost in Roberto Duran type of fashion, gives you a lot of weird angles to punch at. Very difficult target to hit and hit solidly.
Well, for Wright to, for Papillon to be successful here, he's going to have to get out of the corner, get off the ropes, and get off first. And it seems the only time he gets off first is when he's in the middle of the ring, like there.
He's also dealing with the enigma of trying to take a man's title. And if he's going to try and do it backing up, he's going to have difficulty because there is a natural tendency to award decisions to the reigning champion in this type of fight.
Plus, judges, even though they maybe shouldn't, seem to give more credence to headshots than body shots.
Final 10 seconds of round number 2. Papillon trying to rally, but not really landing any flush blows here in the final moments of this second round. Getting set here for round number 3. A close fight so far, a little to differentiate between the two fighters. However, I did give Winky Wright both the first and second round on my scorecard.
As did I. He's landed more. He's been the aggressor. And Papillon just he seems to be too content to be fighting backwards and to hanging around the ropes, which is where he is right now. And he just took a body shot.
Winky Wright appears to be very coolly executing his game plan. He goes downstairs, and that one might have been a little bit low, but it was effective nonetheless as Connors, the referee, let it go, and Wright continues to wail away to the midsection of Jason Papillon.
Watch ahead.
Good solid combination punching by Winky Wright. Very effective to the body and seems to understand the basic principles. Well schooled early on and understands that you have to take some shots to the body, especially in the early stages of the fight. A patient fighter. You see him drilling away, continuing with that right hand to land almost at will to the body and now upstairs.
Well, he's definitely starting to assert himself against Papill, who has probably taken more clean shots to his head in this round than in the other two put together. This is a tactician's fight, but Papill is just getting hit too many times first, and that's not going to help his cause, especially in trying to dethrone the current IBF junior middleweight champion.
There are a lot of boxing fans that feel that Ronald "Winky" Wright got jobbed a little bit when he lost a controversial decision to Fernando Vargas back in '99 in a bid for a championship in this division.
Well, if Vargas beats De La Hoya and Wright wins here, he might get a chance to atone for that.
Winky Wright continues to come forward, establishing that right jab early in this fight and having more and more success with it as the fight wears on. Minute to go in round number 3.
Generally, when you're fighting a southpaw, right-handed fighters have a lot of success with right-hand leads. Wright told me before the fight that he thought that he could land that right-hand lead, but he hasn't been throwing too many of them.
Slight clash of heads here as we come inside the final minute of this third round. Doesn't appear that any significant damage was done to either fighter, and Bill Connors acknowledged that it was an accidental headbutt on the part of both men. Papill tries to hit the arms as his corner advised him, and that's about all he's been able to hit.
No, this is probably as one-sided a round as there's been in this fight, and I agree with you, Jeff, that Winky Wright has been on the winning end of all of them.
Good double up of the right hook by Winky Wright. Papill finally lands a grazing blow to the face.
The Wright has good defense, though, as you pointed out earlier.
Excellent tactical fighter, Ronald Winky Wright. Inside the final 10 seconds here of round number 3. So far, the champion putting on a display as to why he deserves to wear the belt.
Here's a look at that headbutt that Jeff alluded to towards the end of the third round. Papill seemed to have more discomfort as a result of it than Wright. Another look at it from a different angle.
Second shot.
Jason Papill trying to figure out a strategy that can get him into this fight. Nothing particularly damaging as we enter round number 4 of the scheduled 12-rounder, but a steady, well-planned attack by Winky Wright has him in command to this point, at least on our scorecards. He opens up round number 4 as he has the previous 3 by tossing out 3 stiff right jabs. Papill still hasn't solved the problem, and as you mentioned, Ed, I want to go to some right-hand leads as a strategy as Wright comes inside and in essence says, go ahead, Jason, wail away, and I'm going to come back with something.
Well, it's clear that at long range, Wright is going to pop that right jab all night, and if Papill stays on the ropes, hit him with combinations. Papillon's going to have to take some chances here. He wants to be the champion. He's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. He's not going to win a decision fighting the way he's fought the first 3 in the beginning of the 4th round, and he just got backed up by a right hand by Winky Wright.
Winky Wright with that short right hand showing a little bit of power that defies his knockout to win ratio. And again, the left hand scores on the face of Jason Papill, who continues to find himself backed up against the ropes. Winky Wright stood in there early in a defensive posture and let Papill throw a flurry of punches, and then looked at Papill in open defiance with his flourishing confidence and shook his head as if to say, Jason, you don't have a chance with that style.
Well, Wright has been more confident with each round, and he's doing better with each round. Papill just missed with a big right hand there.
And Wright is warned for a low blow, and there's another one, and Bill Connors is going to admonish him this time. Wright complains and says that Papillon's elbows forcing him into that kind of activity, but once again he hits him with the left hand below the belt buckle.
Papillon's got a real problem here. I mean, we can talk about all the strategy we want, but May not, you know, the reality is he just may not be good enough to get in there with a veteran fighter, as you mentioned, who campaigned all over the world before he finally got his just due.
Tough body shot by Winky Wright. And Papill is having serious problems penetrating Winky Wright's defense. Winky Wright, when he puts his hands together in front of his face and just stands in front of Papill, is almost untouchable. The old Elliot Ness routine. Then he comes back and manages to land some power shots, and he's starting to wear Papill out. You can see some fatigue on the visage of Jason Papill here in round number 4.
No, Papillon's mouth is starting to open up a little bit, a clear sign of fatigue, and it's taking him longer to get away from the ropes. In fact, it's been a while until right now that he found the middle of the ring again. And he's not a dynamic puncher, so, you know, if you can't outbox Winky Wright, the chances of him winning by knockout are probably not very strong.
Inside of 10 seconds to go of round number 4. A veritable carbon copy of the previous 3 rounds as Papill, though, does try to rally here in the closing moments.
His fight. He the bigger fighter. You supposed to be the boxer right now. You're supposed to be frustrating him, man. Don't give him the fight, Jay. Come on, don't give it to him.
Hold that head back. Head back.
He covering them covering up. You're supposed to be picking them apart what we worked on. Don't sit there and trade. He hit you low, you hit him back low. He's ready to go, man. Just keep the pressure on. That's what I meant. 12 rounds.
Here you get a look at the low blow, right hand by Winky Wright. Papillon's corner not ecstatic with the way that he has been comporting himself thus far.
Well, as you've been saying, as we get set here for round number 5, this is not a strategy that is a winning one for Jason Papill. He's an action fighter, but he's been backing up throughout the fight. I have Winky Wright ahead 4 rounds to none, 40-36 so far on my scorecard. And Winky Wright has just been peppering Papill with jabs and steady barrage of right hands, and following him up with left hands to the body. Nothing sensational so far out of Wright, but he appears to be building a case and building momentum with each passing round.
What's worse for Papill is that I agree with you, Jeff, that Wright has won the first 4 rounds, but each round he wins more convincingly than the one before. Although Papill has come out a little bit stronger to start this round, maybe at the urging of his trainer Alfred Smith.
Nothing spectacular yet out of Winky Wright. Not known as a knockout puncher. Tends to wear out of opponents when he does get the KO with a war of attrition type mentality. Accumulation of punches is the key to his success, and you see the sharpness of his combinations right there. Very well thought out from a strategic standpoint, very well schooled, been all over the world. A guy that appears to know what his game is and is very capable of executing.
Papill is actually doing a little bit better, or he was until that left-right combination connected. Well, I should say right-left, since Wright's a southpaw.
He's been primarily against the ropes, now backed up into the corner.
Not a good place for Papill to be.
And appeared to get hurt a little bit by what was not an especially hard right hand by Ronald Winky Wright. It's off balance. Not really landing, even though you heard the thud of that punch. Winky Wright taking a lot of these shots on the arms and the elbows. Winky
Wright is a terrific tactical fighter. For people that appreciate the subtleties of the sweet science, Wright is a guy you would enjoy because he has good hand speed. He's got good combinations, pretty good right jab. There was a left-hand lead. And a big left hand that looks like it hurt Papill.
He has him rocked, and Papill is spaghetti leg right now. Short right hand by Winky Wright also got home, and Papill going to try and survive the final 50 seconds here of round number 5.
He's fighting back, but he's definitely been staggered.
Short, subtle punch by Ronald Winky Wright may have turned this fight even more so in his favor, and Papillon's out on his feet. Phil Connor's looking and taking a serious glimpse to see if he wants to stop this thing. Papill in his own corner. A lot of concern on the eyes of his corner man as Ronald Winky Wright continues to pour it on here. And Papill, you have to wonder what's keeping him up. And Connors is going to stop it right there. It's all over. Completely outclassed. Jason Papill can take no more, and Ronald Winky Wright establishes himself as a force in the junior middleweight division, if he wasn't already, retains his IBF junior middleweight championship with a 5th round stoppage.
In that sequence in the corner, you'll see on the replay a big right hand to the top of the head of Papill by Ronald Winky Wright. A place you don't want to get hit, and from that moment on, Papill, who was hurt earlier in the round, had nothing left whatsoever.
How impressive was Ronald Winky Wright, a very patient fighter, well-skilled fighter, fundamentally sound. Early on, a steady spree of jabs got him into an early advantage in this fight. Followed it up with some shots to the body in the 2nd and the 3rd round. Then started to pick Papill apart in the 4th round, and it was all downhill for Jason Papill. He got rocked about midway through the 5th, and finally Bill Connors mercifully brought this fight to an end.
This is when Papill first gets hurt, and right around here you'll see a right hand to the top of the head sooner or later. And they move back into the corner. But you could see that Wright was landing all the ammunition. Good body shot, some questionable. And it's shortly after this that Bill Connors stops the fight.
Good job of sticking and moving by Winky Wright, never in the same place for too long. His Papill no chance to come back into this thing, and the fight comes to a halt.
This is a terrifically impressive win for Winky Wright. I mean, Papill.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Connors has to step in and call a halt to the bout. The official time is 2 minutes 44 seconds of round number 5. The winner by knockout victory, and still the IBF junior middleweight champion of the world, Ronald Winky Wright.
Ronald Winky Wright, the IBF junior middleweight champion, impressive tonight, and perhaps impressive enough to merit consideration for the winner of De La Hoya and Vargas. As we mentioned, he went toe-to-toe with Vargas and lost a narrow majority 12-round decision in a previous title matchup for the same IBF belt.
He totally destroyed a pretty good journeyman fighter. I mean, I'm not saying that Papill is in the elite class of this division, but you know, he's been in with good fighters and he's acquitted himself well, and Wright just took him apart. They felt each other out in the 1st round, then Wright started to assert himself, and in each ensuing round he got stronger and stronger, culminating with the TKO in the 5th.
And Wright has distinguished himself all over the world and virtually at every level. Started out, looked like he was going to be a sensation, then found himself toiling in European soil for a long, long time, and came back to the United States, tried to reach some acclaim, and it looks like he's established himself. Certainly put himself on the boxing map tonight with this impressive win.
Absolutely.